That tiny metal chip on your card is a miniature computer. But can it really be hacked? Think of the chip as a tiny, locked vault inside your card. Every time you pay, it wakes up, runs a quick puzzle, and hands the answer to the terminal. That single, unique answer prevents thieves from replaying transactions. But if the chip is so clever, why do we still see fraud headlines? The short answer? Criminals changed the game, not the chip, and I'll show you exactly how they shifted targets. EMV stands for EuroPay, MasterCard, Visa, but that label hides a simple idea. The chip is a small, secure computer, not a passive sticker. When you insert or tap, card and terminal negotiate a secure method. The chip then generates a single-use cryptogram, a code tied to that exact amount, terminal, and time. Even if someone captures that code, it's useless for the next purchase. And that's the core of EMV's defense. Walkthrough. Insert the card, the terminal asks for authentication. The chip creates a dynamic code, the terminal forwards it to the bank, and authorization follows. Each step adds checks and context: amount, merchant ID, terminal type. The bank verifies the cryptogram and decides. That handshake makes cloning impractical. But this process raises a question. Where can attackers actually interfere? The chip, the terminal, or somewhere else? Compare chips to magnetic stripes. A swipe sends the same static number every time, like shouting your password in public. Chips behave like rotating locks, issuing a new key each transaction. That simple difference destroyed most counterfeit card fraud. Visa reported big drops in counterfeit losses after EMV adoption. But no system is perfect, and criminals adapt, which brings us to the methods they started using after chips became common. Authentication at checkout can require a PIN or a signature. Chip and PIN asks you to enter a secret code, which blocks a thief who merely holds your card. Chip and signature, or no verification, still benefits from the chip's cryptogram. But signatures add almost no real protection. The PIN matters when a physical thief has your card, while the chip stops cloning and copying. So which matters more depends on the exact scam you're up against. You might spot acronyms like SDA, DDA, CDA in technical articles. They describe different authentication methods inside the EMV world. The takeaway for you: modern EMV implementations use strong, dynamic authentication that resists cloning. You don't need to memorize acronyms to be safer, but knowing that EMV evolved to include tougher checks helps explain why the fraud landscape changed after adoption. Magnetic stripe skimming used to be everywhere. Pumps and fake readers stole static track data and produced clones. With EMV, cloning a card is extremely hard because the chip won't reproduce the same transaction code. After merchants upgraded, counterfeit in-store fraud dropped sharply. That drop forced criminals to look for softer targets, and sadly, those targets were often online systems and merchant infrastructure. Contactless payments use NFC, a radio handshake that only works a few centimeters away. Tapping a card or phone triggers the same kind of EMV cryptogram as inserting a chip. Early fears about radio swiping miss two facts. Range is tiny, and data from one tap can't authorize another purchase. So tapping is not radio swiping. It's a secure, short-range EMV exchange with built-in one-time codes. Mobile wallets add more armor. Your phone doesn't send your real card number. It uses a token or device account number tied to that phone. Each transaction still gets a cryptogram, but the identity element lives on the device. You confirm with biometrics or a passcode, called CDCVM, which means a stolen phone without your fingerprint won't pay. Tokens and biometrics together make mobile wallets arguably the safest option for payments. You've seen viral clips claiming someone can scan a pocket and steal your card. Is that real? Not really. Standard cards need a few centimeters of proximity, and the captured data isn't reusable for new transactions. Most contactless reads don't reveal the details required for online shopping. So while RFID blockers sound dramatic, they address a low-probability, low-impact threat, and there are more effective, practical protections you should use instead. Lost or stolen contactless cards are a real worry in some places, where small taps don't require PINs. a thief could make a few low-value purchases before the card is blocked. Mitigation is simple. Enable instant alerts. Use your bank's card lock feature, or disable contactless on the physical card and use the mobile wallet instead. Those steps limit damage quickly and keep you in control while you sort out a lost card. A shim is a paper-thin device slipped into the chip slot to eavesdrop on the terminal-to-card conversation. Shims can sometimes capture limited data, but they can't extract the chip's private keys or recreate usable chip transactions. Shimming sounds scary, but in practice it's far less effective than old skimming. Still, if a terminal looks weird or asks you to swipe where a chip works, walk inside or use another machine and report it. Point-of-sale malware and merchant breaches are high-impact threats. Attackers target systems that handle card data before it's encrypted, capturing numbers in memory or intercepting logs. A breached merchant can leak large batches of card numbers, fueling online fraud. Merchants should deploy point-to-point encryption and tokenization to limit exposure. For you, the consumer, using wallets and virtual numbers reduces the usefulness of stolen merchant data. Relay attacks are a clever trick where criminals forward the radio conversation between your card and a distant reader in real time. Researchers have demonstrated proofs of concept, but practical execution is tricky. The card or phone needs to be very close to a participating reader during the attack. Networks also use timing and risk signals to detect anomalies. Still, Relay shows why layered defenses matter. Device side checks and issuer risk systems help stop these sophisticated attempts. The biggest and most damaging attacks aren't about breaking chips. They rely on social engineering, phishing, account takeover, and malware on devices. Thieves trick people into handing over one-time codes or banking passwords, or they install remote access tools to siphon numbers. These attacks bypass chip protections because the fraud happens online or through stolen credentials. Your best defenses here are skepticism, two-factor authentication, and strict password hygiene. After EMV rollout, in-store counterfeit fraud plunged and criminals pivoted to card-not-present attacks online. E-commerce doesn't include EMV cryptograms, so stolen numbers work. That shift explains much of today's fraud picture. The payments industry fought back with tools like 3D Secure, tokenization, and stronger authentication, but the cat-and-mouse game continues as fraudsters refine phishing, credential stuffing, and bot-driven checkout attacks. What's closing the gap online? 3D Secure 2.0 provides risk-based verification that adds friction only when needed. Network tokens replace stored card numbers with merchant-specific placeholders. Europe's strong customer authentication forces multi-step verification on sensitive flows. These tools reduce the value of stolen numbers, especially when combined with behavioral analytics and device intelligence that spot fraud patterns before checkout completes. Now, practical tips you can use today. Prefer a mobile wallet for in-store and in-app payments because tokens plus biometrics are powerful. If you carry a physical card, tap is generally safer than swipe. If a terminal asks to swipe at a chip-enabled store, insist on insert or tap, or choose another terminal. Small choices like that reduce your exposure to old skimming tricks and make fraud attempts less attractive. Lock down your card features. Enable instant transaction alerts. Use the app's card lock if you misplace the card, and request contactless limits or disable physical tap if you prefer using your wallet. These controls let you stop transactions fast and reduce the window when a lost card can be abused. Small setup steps today can prevent hours of frustration later. Protect your PIN and be cautious at ATMs and gas pumps. Shield keypads when entering codes. Prefer pumps and machines in well-lit, busy areas. Avoid loose or mismatched keypads which can indicate tampering. At gas stations, consider paying inside or using a mobile wallet to bypass exposed hardware. These simple habits cut the odds of physical tampering or hidden devices stealing your data. Shop safer online with virtual card numbers or single-use tokens for unfamiliar merchants. Favor stores that support 3D Secure and tokenization. Use a password manager and unique passwords, and enable two-factor authentication on banking and retail accounts. Prefer credit cards over debit for better dispute protections. These steps make stolen numbers less valuable and give you better recovery options if fraud occurs. If you run payments for a business, finish your EMV and contactless enablement Deploy point-to-point encryption and follow PCI DSS rigorously. Segment networks, monitor for anomalies, and keep systems patched. Use tokenization and 3D Secure Online to keep card data out of your environment. Strong defenses at the merchant level stop large breaches that fuel widespread online fraud. Let's bust common myths fast. RFID thieves draining cards from across a room is largely fiction. Tap to pay is often safer than swipe because of dynamic cryptograms. Shims can eavesdrop but can't clone chips or extract keys. And EMV didn't erase all fraud, it pushed criminals into online attacks. Knowing these realities helps you make smarter choices without giving in to fear. Final quick recap. Chips generate one-time codes, Contactless uses short-range NFC, mobile wallets add tokens and biometrics, and the real high-risk areas are merchant systems and social engineering. Your best moves are to use tokenized wallets, enable alerts and locks, prefer credit over debit, and practice cautious online habits. Keep these simple routines and you'll make yourself a much harder target for modern fraudsters. If this cleared up chip and tap myths for you, like and subscribe for more explainers. And drop a comment with the payment worry you want us to tackle next.